welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Okay, all situated here. Let's get out of this thing and get on the way. Okay. Everything's cool. Block it off. This little impromptu dirt hut. And we need this way, so let's go and continue onward to the FarLands. All right. Continuing on, walking to the FarLands in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, raising funds for Child's Play charity, and enjoying the classic beta Minecraft terrain generation because it can be so incredibly epic. Yeah, gravel beaches, all sorts of wonderful things. Wait a minute. Let's do this right. Get out a boat. All right. Anywho, here we are starting off on the 271st Minecraft day since leaving spawn. Some 91 episodes ago, this being the 92nd episode. And yeah, we're making some good progress here. And what I'm thrilled about is the fact that I've been doing fairly well in terms of consistency and regular episodes, except for the last few days. I have to apologize for that because I had an occasion of having assorted issues and not feeling good that kept me from doing much of anything with videos and such. And yeah. And then as I finally started to feel better, I got busy on Hermitcraft mining for diamond. And I've finally gotten enough diamond that the structure I call the diamond is now, I think, pretty much structurally complete. There might be a few more things that I would change out for diamond block, but the bulk of it, the main structure, is technically finished. And it has a load of diamond. I had one estimate of how much diamond was in it in the most recent Hermitcraft video. Link in description, of course. And as it turns out, I was wrong about how much diamond is in that thing. I thought there was about 429 blocks. I was wrong. I counted wrong. It turns out that there is over 500 blocks of diamond in that thing. Which, if you take 500 and multiply it times 9 to get the number of actual diamonds, we're talking over 4,500 diamonds. That's a lot of diamond. And this is why the one thing I do on Hermitcraft more than anything else is mine, because diamonds. Do like my diamonds. Anyway, in terms of the progress towards the FarLands, the size of the world at the beginning of this episode is 3,412.28 megabytes, with the interim goal before an F3 moment being 4,000 megabytes of world size. That means that it is now only 587.72 megabytes away. It's actually close enough now that it actually feels like a realistic goal. And that's because at the rate of approximately 37.4 megabytes per 3-day episode, I could conceivably reach that goal in 15, maybe 16 episodes. Not bad. It is an actual thing that it actually feels like it is within reach now. Initially, it felt like, oh wow, huge, long distance. And not so much anymore. This is great. Anyway, when I was not feeling good, one of the things that I did do, of course, because you can do this without having to get up and go anywhere, and without having to talk to anyone or anything like that, is to sit there, and I was playing a lot of poker tournaments, these $10 on-demand free rolls. And I played quite a few of them. Unfortunately, it has been a while since I've cashed in one. The last time I cashed in one of those tournaments was, I believe it was on the 29th of January for $1.35 by finishing second. So yeah, it's a slow go. It's really slow going. To give you an idea how slow going, I started this project in March of 16, and here it is February of 17, and between the small occasional, very occasional win and a few losses, my net bankroll right now is a few cents over $7, which has been built up starting with a zero bankroll, because when I signed up on the site, I never made a deposit, and I will not make a deposit, because given my financial situation and how desperate for money situations I am, there is just no way. I cannot justify using any of the money that I need for daily life and bill paying and so on. I can't use any of it to fund the bankroll. It's not justifiable. As much as I would like to do that, it just isn't going to happen. So, yeah, it's all a part of trying to do good bankroll management, both in real life for day-to-day real life needs and rent, utilities, and other bills and so on. That versus spending it on a poker bankroll. I can't. So that's the reason I'm doing this this thing of playing the free rolls to build the starting bankroll. That way, the money for the poker money is completely and totally, absolutely separate from the main real life money. And that, I think, is the best way to do that. That way, if I lose it, then it's not hurting my real life situation. And if I win, any winnings contribute to the overall poker bankroll building project without affecting any real life situations, positively or negatively. Get rid of that seed. Don't want that. And so, that's the thing. And I've been looking at some statistics, some numbers. In the month of January, I did cash 4 times for a total of about $2.27, about $2.25 added to my bankroll in January from cashing in 4 different tournaments. However, to put some perspective on it, to give you an idea of how hard it is to actually do that in these tournaments, the number of tournaments that I have played in that time, in the month, just in the month of January 2017, I played in 288 tournaments and managed to cash in 4 of them. So far, for the month of February, I have played in 43 tournaments and have cashed so far in 0 of them. But the month is new and young yet, so there's plenty of time to get some cashes in February. Although it's kind of a grind. You know, you wouldn't think so, but these free roll tournaments are actually kind of hard because, well, it's kind of a two-edged sword thing. You see, in one way, the fact that it costs nothing to get into it is good, because that way you can play it without having to lay out any cash that you don't have. On the other hand, the fact that it's free is not such a good thing. And the reason for that is you get a lot of players in them that play the thing kind of like it was a lottery. They don't take it seriously. They know that they didn't pay anything to get into the game, and therefore, if they lose, they don't particularly care all that much because they're not losing anything. You know, if the tournament had like a $10 or $20 or $30 buy-in, then it would be another matter. People would probably play a little bit more seriously because they actually put some actual money on the line. But this is not the case, and so therefore a lot of players don't do that. They get in there and, well, as an example. Now, to clarify a little bit here, the game is Texas Hold'em. Everybody's dealt 2 cards face down, whole cards, and then after a round of betting, there's more cards dealt. A set of community cards. In stages, there is dealt a 3-card flop, and then 1 card for the turn, and 1 card that is called the river card, and then you make the best 5-card hand of poker you can out of those total 7 cards, the 5 community and your 2 whole cards. Now, what I have seen a lot, as a matter of fact, just a couple of days ago was a really good example of this. The tournament starts. It deals the very first hand, the whole cards for the very first hand. And of the 9 players on the table, 5 of them go all in. All in meaning that they have decided to bet all of their chip stack on the outcome of the hand. 5 of them. And that's insane. Especially when, as the hand plays out, you see what their whole cards are revealed, and you find out that a guy goes all in pre-flop with like 7 deuce offsuit. 7 deuce offsuit is, by the way, the very worst starting hand in Texas Hold'em. It is. And so somebody goes all in with that. Somebody else goes all in with other offsuited low cards or high cards, or, of course, if they have any face cards, bang, there they are. And, of course, the person with the best hand ends up winning it all. And that person ends up doing pretty good because they're sitting there with 4 or 5 starting stacks instead of just 1. The other players are, of course, eliminated from the game on hand number 1. And, you know, this continues throughout the early stages of the tournament because during the first half an hour, late registration is available, which means there are new players coming into the game. And a lot of them are going to play this all-in lottery, where the very first hand they play, they are all in with any 2 cards, treating it like a lottery or a bingo game or something like that, where they might win something huge and they might get knocked out. And if they get knocked out, they're not losing anything because they didn't have to pay to get in. This makes it hard for people to actually play real serious poker. You know, because in real serious poker, there are times when you might try to do something with a marginal hand, and you can occasionally take a marginal hand and actually make it pay off. But if you're in a situation where you know from experience that somebody's liable to go all in at the drop of a hat with what may be crap and it may be good, you don't know until it plays out, you know, you can't be putting a whole lot of your stack out there when people are doing that. So, and if you don't put it in the middle, you can't win with it. Of course, also, if you don't put it in the middle, you don't lose what you don't put in the middle, you know? So, these things are actually kind of hard to win. At least that's my experience. Of course, I'll be the first to admit, I am not the all-time greatest poker player in the world. I'm not even close. But I like to think that I'm better than a lot of the donkeys and fish that are playing it like a lottery. If they would actually play sensibly, there are a lot of hands that they would never open with. But what are you going to do? So this is why it takes so long to actually get anywhere with this thing. And it's one of the reasons that I am really looking forward to reaching a point where I can move off of the free rolls and start playing the regular tables. I even know which one I'm going to start with. A table where the stakes are, the blinds are 1 cent and 2 cent, and the buy-in is $1. A $1 buy-in with 1 and 2 cent blinds. It's very slow, it's very small time, slow moving, and so on. But the idea is to buy into that and play very carefully, play very tight, and very patiently. Try not to make big stupid mistakes, and build up the bankroll until it's possible to buy into the game with a $2 buy-in, and then move to the $5 buy-in, and the 10, and the 20, and so on, up the line. I mean, there are games with a $5,000 buy-in, and it would be nice to say, okay, my bankroll is big enough that I've got enough for 30 buy-ins at $5,000, and be playing on those tables. That would be awesome, because I guarantee you, you got a $5,000 buy-in, your players are serious. They are serious and probably quite skilled. And that would be cool. You know what else is cool? Look at this. That looks awesome. Let's get up here and do the screenshot thing. Yeah. Anyway, that's what's going on there. And I worked out some good bankroll management rules. Some rules for how I would manage bankroll. And I think it's a reasonably good plan. The idea is I don't play any buy-in level unless I have a bankroll that has enough in it to buy in 30 times. So for the $1 buy-in, I should have a $30 bankroll to start playing at that level. As you can imagine, it might take me a long time to get there. Which is why I'm kind of toying with the idea of revising the bankroll rules for the early levels because if I stick with the 30 buy-ins rule, then it could be a year or two at this rate before I could actually buy in at that level. The rule that I set up was, I decided on this rule that says, in order to play at any level, you have to have enough in the bankroll to buy in 30 times. If the bankroll drops down to where you only have 20 buy-ins, then you have to stop playing at that level and move to the next lowest level. And all the way down to where you end up back on free rolls to rebuild the bankroll up a little bit. Naturally, of course, not 100% thrilled by that. And I am going to do my overnight right here. Right here out in the middle of the water. And bang, bang, and sunset coming. Yeah. Alright, so I'm beginning to think basically that perhaps it would be a good idea, or an acceptable idea, to maybe try some of those low stakes or micro stakes tables with the bankroll that I've got now. I've got like $7 bankroll. Maybe if I were to play a few of those and have a rule there that if the bankroll goes to 5 or less, then I have to stop and go back to grinding. But it's also possible that by playing carefully, slowly, patiently, I could possibly manage to build the bankroll up from there and start getting to the point where I don't have to worry about going back to free rolls. Because while it's great that you can get into them for nothing and have a chance of winning something for real, it's enough of a grind that I am very much looking forward to getting away from them. And I would also tell anyone who was thinking about it, if you're thinking about doing this, think again. If you can afford to make a deposit, that would be a better way to go. And then manage it with good bankrolls, use good bankroll management, and you might never have to make another deposit if you were very careful and just a little bit fortunate. So I'm thinking about changing that rule up a little bit, just to get myself into a little bit different playing situation, where perhaps I might just have a chance to play against some more sensible players. I don't necessarily want to play against better players. I want to play against more sensible ones that, just simply because they have put money, even though it's a small amount, into buying into the thing, they're not necessarily just going to dunk it all off on crazy, insane bets. And yeah, I've tried doing this in the past with mixed success. There's been a few times that I've played on a micro stake table and I've come away with winnings and a profit. And then there's other times where I'd buy in for $1 and end up walking away with no winnings and be $1 down because I lost the buy-in. So, I don't know. I'm thinking I want to try to do that just to change things up a little bit and get me into a situation where I don't have to sit there going What the F are you thinking? What is going on in your brain, however tiny it might be, that you would go all in pre-flop with 7 deuce offsuit? Or other hands that are unacceptably bad for that kind of thing. I don't know. Then again, I do know. They're doing it because they can and it doesn't cost them anything. And that if it works, they can have a pretty good bankroll to play with, well, a pretty good chip stack to play in that tournament with, and might just end up sitting at the final table. That is, of course, if they actually know how to play decent poker, because getting to the final table is where you run into the good players. Because you don't get that deep in a tournament with just luck. Luck is a factor, but it's a small factor. Most of it is skill. If I had to say, I'd say probably like 80% skill and maybe 20% luck. It might be more like 10 or 15%. I don't know. I don't know exactly how you would quantify that. But I do know that it's mostly skill. And so if you get deep in a tournament, especially a tournament where there's several hundred people starting, you know you've managed to accomplish something. And I don't think you're going to get that deep with just luck. He says, remembering that he's made second place in several of these, several of the caches I've done have been at second place. And a few at third and fifth, but the point is, I made the final table. And that's cool. Anyway, I feel like I've been kind of rambling on and on and on about this, but I can't help it in a way. It's, this is something that I really have a feeling that I can seriously get somewhere with this once I actually start to get somewhere with it. I very much enjoy the game. Oh, look at here. Another screenshot. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want to take a shot at this. And one of these days, by one means or another, I am going to find myself sitting in Las Vegas at the World Series of Poker main event and see how deep I can get in that thing. I'm thinking I should at least be able to cash in the thing. And even a min cash nets you more than it costs to get in. And if you get down to like the final 80 or 90, that's when you start getting into where there are 6-figure payouts. And that would be awesome. Of course, the ultimate goal is to make the final table and finish in first place. Is that a realistic goal? Yes, I think so. Let me put it this way. I believe very sincerely that if an accountant from Tennessee that nobody had ever heard of can get into the main event and surprise everyone, beating top pros and winning that thing, then a little no-name YouTuber that hardly anybody's ever even heard of can do the same thing. I see no reason why I can't do it too. And that's the idea. Want to do that. and sincerely believe that I can. And some way or another, gonna do it. Oh, please stop doing that. Okay. Getting towards the middle of the day, isn't it? Yeah. Or actually, it's getting late in the day. I need to find a place to park for the overnight and the between episode thing. All right, let's see here. Might be something right down here. Oh, let's get out of the water. All right, right here. All right, let's get in here, back another. Yeah, just dig this out and this will do just nicely. Anyway, I have to thank everyone who is still watching for putting up with my obsession, and I admit it is something of an obsession, but there you go. It's an obsession, and you know how it is. Obsessions don't go away. Okay, so 3 boats, 3 beds. Okay, and block the door before somebody tries to come in. Fix the lighting. There we go. All right. Anyway, like I said, thanks for putting up with my rambling and obsessing with this subject. And we'll be back again in a day or two. I'm going to try for every other day with these episodes and keep at it, because we're getting close to that interim goal, and I really, really, really want that to happen. So, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.